While the unemployment rate has been steady at 4.3%, the black unemployment rate has been 7.3%. When you ran for president, you courted black voters and talked about what you described as black jobs. How do you describe why this disparity is happening? What can you do to close that?
Well, we're doing very well with the black jobs, African American jobs. I saw some numbers that we're doing really well. But where we're really going to do well is when all these plants are open. You know, we're building many car plants. We're bringing cars back from Germany. We're bringing, we lost the car industry years ago. 54% of the industry went to Germany, Japan, Canada, Mexico. It's all coming back. It's amazing. And where your black worker is really going to do well is when those factories open. So I think they're going to be great. We've been doing very well. It's been a big focus for me.
What is a black job?
You'd have to ask Donald Trump.
I'm not sure what that means. I'm referring to a statement that you made a year ago on your LinkedIn. I was so honored and proud to be a New York State delegate for our next president, with Vice President Kamala Harris ascending to her black job.
Donald Trump made a comment that was very stereotypical about black people, and it was a joke about his stereotypical statement about black people.
What is a black job?
You'll have to ask Donald Trump.
I have to ask. Well, Donald Trump's not on the witness stand. So
well, and I'm here to talk about hate crime, which I hope you want to talk about as well.
If the gentleman will yield, I can clarify that.
No, I'd like to hear from the witness, but I appreciate it. Could Hillary Clinton have filled that black job? What you call a black job?
You'd have to ask Donald Trump.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Black voters and talked about what you described as black jobs. How do you describe why this disparity is happening? What can you do to close that?
Well, we're doing very well with the black jobs, African American jobs. I saw some numbers that we're doing really well. But where we're really going to do well is when all these plants are open.
What's a black job, asshole? Enlighten me, please. And while you're at it, tell me what a white job is. Who the fuck talks that way? Who refers to a job as a black job? I can tell you what a black job is. It's the President of the United States. A black man that did it better than a white man like yourself. That's a black job. You think a factory job is a black job? I drive a truck for a living. Is that a white job? Because I know black people that drive trucks too. Enlighten me on these jobs, these color-coordinated jobs that you know of. And before people come into the comment section and say, oh, he didn't mean it that way, cut the bullshit. There's only one good thing that's happened since Trump has been president, and it's brought out the true colors of people. And it made people feel more comfortable to bring out who they truly are. For the past 2 years, the ignorance has been showing right out in the open.
Do you want a black job?
Can you clarify that? And then I want to ask you specifically, Donald Trump said when it comes to the U.S. border, they're taking black jobs. He was talking about migrants taking black jobs. What is a black job?
Okay. Well, a couple things. First of all, you know what he meant by that, okay? He meant jobs that are filled by African Americans in America and others, Americans in general, but the question in specific was about black voters. He didn't ask that question, the moderators did, and so he segued into the impact that it's had on black voters, and that is very simple. When you flood a country with millions of people, you're going to have more competition for work. You are, and those workers are willing to do it at a lower wage. And that you see that in some of the fields like construction and trades. It impacts Hispanic communities as well. On your first question, look, the United States didn't invade Iraq.
I'm sorry.
The United States didn't come across. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish.
No. You were going to ask me something.
I wanted to clarify on what you were just saying about black jobs. You seem to be saying these are low-wage jobs?
No, they're not low-wage jobs. These are working-class jobs.
You talk about migrants
yes,
taking low-wage jobs, and that he was talking about black voters.
No, what I said is that migrants are willing to come in and do it at a lower wage. They are. Because they are willing to take work at a lower wage than an American would. And as a result, they get hired and not the American. And that is something that people have talked about for a long time. I didn't make that up. I'm not the first person to make that observation.
Wow, Marco Rubio. Thank you for clarifying it to the American people. Black jobs are low-paying jobs that you think black people do, and you also think the migrants are coming in and taking those low-paying jobs. How much is Donald Trump paying you, Marco Rubio, to get out here and clean up his mess? He can't be paying you much. And if that's the case, maybe you also have one of those so-called black jobs. How could anyone black vote for Donald Trump after you've heard this kind of rhetoric? If you do, shame on you. Trump supporters, get those knee pads and those elbow pads ready, because Jack Smith, Fonnie Willis, and Letitia James are coming for you. It's over, MAGA. It really is. Oh, and by the way, shout out to Alvin Bragg. He must have had one of those black jobs too.
They're taking black jobs.
Hey man, did Trump say the black jobs? The black, they taking the black, who is they? They, hey they. Can I get an application? I need to get hired on with the black jobs. Where the black, how much they paying for the black jobs? I never heard of them. Nobody, y'all black people ain't told nobody about the black jobs. Man, God, what's wrong with y'all, black people? There are black jobs out there that they taking. The black jobs. Let me know. Hello? Hello? Anybody know where the black jobs are? Hello? The black jobs. Yeah.
The list of black jobs is dropping. Some of these are funny. Lash tech, barber, club promoter. I can agree with the club promoter. TSA agent, TSA worker. I don't know why Sexy Red is just on there by themselves. Kool-Aid maker. Okay, some of these are getting outrageous. Podcaster, scammer, CNA. What am I? NBA player Boosie. Why is who put Boosie in there? I definitely saw veneer tech on there. I don't know if that's a black job or not. What else is on here? Let's keep it going. Amazon delivery driver, gas station clerk, water boy. Okay, Kool-Aid maker. Okay. I don't know what Zeus producer is. Somebody leave a comment. Let me know what Zeus producer is. DVD bootlegger, hookah bar, tax lady, t-shirt maker, TV judge. Yo, if you know the Tekken Player 1 is 100% real. Just look it up. Tekken Players, you already know. Yo, let me know what's missing from this list. Should other things be added? Potato salad maker. Okay. What's missing from this list? Some of these aren't even jobs. What would you add? Let me know. Yo, guys, drop those follows, man. I appreciate you guys.
Black Americans are not happy about this whole thing being mentioned about the black job. They are talking about it. They say, hey, what do you mean by that? Because we don't understand that in America, jobs are literally categorized according to the race. Even Americans themselves are wondering, are jobs categorized to the race? Because under the Constitution of America, a job is a job. So stay tuned. Let's talk about this much more. And please subscribe to my channel. Welcome. Please subscribe.
Y'all gonna get mad, but I really don't give a damn. So Donald Trump was asked about black unemployment, and when I heard him start talking about opening factories and plants for black workers, I had one question. Why is it that every time some people talk about black progress, they immediately picture us working with our hands and not leading with our minds? See, that's the part that bothers me. Why is the conversation always about where black people can labor and not where black people can own? Why are we talking about factories but not Fortune 500 companies? Why are we talking about plants but not patents? Why are we talking about assembly lines but not boardrooms? Because last time I checked, black people are doctors, lawyers, engineers, pilots, entrepreneurs, scientists, educators, investors, and business owners. We don't need nobody to decide what lane we're supposed to excel in. That's the same mindset that's been around forever. Assign black people a role, put them in a box, and then call it opportunity. No, opportunity is choice. Opportunity is being able to become whatever the hell you're qualified to become. And that's what gets me. The expectation for black people always seems to stop at labor instead of leadership. I don't want a future where black people are told where they fit. I want a future where black people decide for themselves. And if that makes people uncomfortable, maybe that's the conversation we should be having.
Jaron, I want to start with what we just heard there from the president, quote, "We're doing very well with the black jobs." Has the administration focused on them the way he claims? Did you get the impression he understands the unemployment picture for black America at all that is almost double that of whites?
Well, Rev, I don't believe the White House has really focused a lot on the black unemployment rate. In fact, up until I asked the president about this topic, he's never been asked about the black unemployment rate that has steadily increased since he came into office. I was covering the Biden White House when the black unemployment reached its lowest level on record at 4.8%. And since President Trump returned to the White House, it has steadily increased to pandemic levels, as upward of 8.2%. It's been consistently above 7%. In 2021, it was that high. And so I wanted to pose this question to the president because he did court black voters, as I mentioned to him in the Oval. And he often used that black jobs term when he was talking to them about their job access and claimed that immigrants were responsible for taking said jobs. And he's never been clear about what he means by a black job, but it's clear that access to jobs, access to high paying jobs for black Americans is out of reach. And it's been that way for quite some time. And so I wanted to ensure that the president went on record and was held accountable for what he promised black voters.
All here in the operating room doing our black jobs. Doc, how does it feel to do a black job?
Excellent.
What do you do in the OR?
OR nurse. OR nurse.
Brett? Skull check.
Anesthesiologist.
Yeah, don't get it twisted.
I love my black job. David, PA.
I love my black job. Orthopedic surgeon.
I love my black job. Surgical tech. Willis.
I love my black job.
I love my black job. Brett.
I love my black job. OR nurse. I love my black job. OR nurse.
Trump said that the black jobs are doing very well.
Well, we're doing very well with the black jobs, African American jobs.
I thought people just had jobs. I didn't know there was black jobs. You know what I'm saying? I thought people just had jobs.
The black jobs are doing very well. The black jobs are doing very well. I think they're doing well. Biden didn't do a good job with the black jobs. Black jobs are fantastic, fantastic. They're amazing. We have mass incarceration. Black jobs are so perfect. They're doing such cheap labor in prisons. We got NFL. We got basketball. They're doing jumping high, running fast.
And where your black worker is really going to do well is when those factories open.
So black jobs are doing fantastic. Now we just got to get them back on the fields. We got to get the cotton. We got to get the sugar. We got to get it back. The black jobs are doing phenomenal. Our plan is working perfectly. Perfectly, okay? Those are the black jobs I'm talking about. I don't know what jobs you're talking about. You're talking about doctor, lawyer. No. We got that. White guys. White people have that. You guys got to get back to what you're good at.
A lot of y'all thought that it was a good thing when Trump said Hispanics are taking black jobs. But the reality is what he really meant is black folks are taking white jobs. And him and his two young white men that he replaced those black folks with are showing you in this press conference. Watch this.
It'd be very good for certain jobs, but not people that should be doing this particular job.
That's why I'm trying to figure out how you can come to the conclusion right now that diversity had something to do with this crash.
Because I have common sense, okay? And unfortunately, a lot of people don't. We want brilliant people doing this. This is a major chess game at the highest level.
We want to hire the best people because we want the best people at air traffic control, and we want to make sure we have enough people at air traffic control who are actually competent to do the job. If you go back to just some of the headlines over the past 10 years, you have many hundreds of people suing the government because they would like to be air traffic controllers, but they were turned away because of the color of their skin. That policy ends under Donald Trump's leadership.
We will have the best and brightest in every position possible. As you said in your inaugural, it is colorblind and merit-based.
Now, the Secretary of Defense earlier today got to show up at the DOD looking like this, talking to the American people about the situation.
It was a fairly experienced crew, and that was doing a required annual night evaluation. They did have night vision goggles.
And he replaced this black man whose resume was this long. And by the way, these are his qualifications in comparison. It's never been about qualifications or experience. It's always been about race and class. And America has always been some form of a job farm or a plantation. And what you see here is they're trying to set things in the order that they desire it to be in. Deport the brown, replace them with the blacks, and elevate the whites back to their rightful place as they see it. The press secretary is 27, the vice president is 40, and the secretary of defense is 44. It's not about experience. It's not about qualifications. It's about whiteness. 73% of air traffic controllers are white, 15% are Hispanic, 9% are black. So how is DEI the problem if 73% of the people doing the job are white? Now maybe the rest of you can see what some of us have been trying to tell you all along.
What is a black job?
While the unemployment rate has been steady at 4.3%, the black unemployment rate has been 7.3%. When you ran for president, you courted black voters and talked about what you described as black jobs. How do you describe why this disparity is happening? What can you do to close that?
I know what black professionals are. I know what that is, but what is a black job?
We're doing very well with the black jobs, African American jobs. I saw some numbers that we're doing really well. But
what numbers? We're not looking at the same numbers because black unemployment is 7.3% right now. So what numbers is he talking about? Oh, well, in case you don't know either, he's about to tell us about some job numbers and some black jobs. Or it might have been yesterday.
Really going to do well is when all these plants are open. We're building many car plants. We're bringing cars back from Germany. We're bringing, we lost the car industry years ago. 54% of the industry went to Germany, Japan, Canada, Mexico. It's all coming back. It's amazing.
What's amazing is that anybody listens to this drivel. Black unemployment did not become this imbalanced when cars started being manufactured in Germany. That's not what happened. So don't fall for this okie doke. That's not the story. This is when it happened. When Elon Musk and the fake governmental body called Doge went into the government and began eviscerating organizations and removing people from their desks. That was a part of it. When they dismantled DEI, when they dismantled affirmative action, that's when black unemployment was under attack. Please do not get it twisted. This is crazy. And according to him, just as soon as we get car manufacturing and other factories up and running, black jobs are going to come roaring back. Because I guess black people only work in factories. Is there anything wrong with working in factories? No. But when you look at black unemployment and you look at who has actually been displaced from the workforce, guess what? It isn't factory workers, it's black professionals. So now I'd like to point your attention to Exhibit A last week when I told you guys that it is erroneous to tell black professionals who have been displaced from the workforce that they should pursue the trades. I wasn't wrong. You have to understand that there is an emerging system that is trying to push people into a labor force that will serve industry, because industry is going to be booming. Why is it going to be booming? Because of AI. I am saying that there is a future, a not far distant, far away future, where there will be so many people who are building companies that they use artificial intelligence to either manage the companies or actually build the companies. And those companies will need some human bodies to serve, to work, to keep the cogs turning and the wheels turning. So listen, I have been saying for now going on 4 years that the best position to be in is to be a person who understands how to build businesses using artificial intelligence. Why? Because the building pipeline when you use AI is just simply faster, and you can get to market quicker, and you can get back to earning revenue faster. That's why. And so if we get stuck in the mindset of, oh, big bad AI, that's a bad place to be, because they already have plans for you.
The black unemployment rate has been 7.3%. When you ran for president, you courted black voters and talked about what you described as black jobs. How do you describe why this disparity is happening? What can you do to close that?
Well, we're doing very well with the black jobs. But where we're really going to do well is when all these plants are open.
When black people told you that this motherfucker didn't care about us and he wanted us back in factories, it was, you guys are fear-mongering. Maybe when you hear it from the horse's fucking mouth, you'll actually believe this bullshit. Black unemployment at 7.3 fucking %. This bitch just said he's doing good with black jobs. And then he said we're going to be doing even better when the plants open up, when the factories open up. So that means that this motherfucker thinks that black jobs is only black physical labor in fucking factories. Modern day fucking slavery. It's the reason that with the 13th Amendment, slavery isn't abolished for prisoners, and who makes up the wide fucking majority of the criminal justice system, the prison industrial complex in this fucking country. These things are not coincidences. Stop trying to tell black people that we don't know what the fuck we're talking about when this bitch is up there admitting everything that we fucking said. He wants us back in factories. That's why he's specifically targeting DEI initiatives. Black women are disproportionately fired from their fucking jobs. Why he's attacking education in black fucking communities. Like, these things are not coincidences. Stop trying to tell us that we don't know what the fuck we're talking about.
Okay, I want to take a moment to say thank you to Donald Trump, not out of praise, but out of truth. Because while you rip through every part of this government, tearing down justice, equality, and fairness under the fake excuse of fighting DEI fraud, what you're really doing is confirming what black folks have been saying for generations. America was built on racism, fueled by fear and sustained by white supremacy. You've exposed it all. The masks are off. The polite racism, the fake allyship, the colorblind lies, it's all gone. Now we see it raw and unfiltered. You're not just targeting policy, you're targeting people. Black people, brown people, marginalized communities. And the wild part, we make up the smallest portion of this country, yet somehow we are the biggest threat to the lie that white supremacy built. That should tell you everything. You're afraid not of violence, not of replacement, but of the power we hold even when we have nothing. You see the way our culture, our brilliance, our resilience, our excellence continues to shape this country, even when it tries to erase us. Donald Trump is just the loudest version of a system that's always been in place. He is the living, breathing proof that this country was never designed with us in mind. And yet, we continue to define it. So thank you, Donald, for exposing what so many tried to deny, for showing the world that the fear of black greatness is real, for proving that racism isn't in our imagination, it's in the fabric of this nation. And to my people, we don't have to fight to prove our worth. He's doing that for us. All we have to do is stand firm, stay awake, and know that the truth is finally louder than the lie. We are not broken. We are not the problem. We are the evidence of the power that this country can contain. Let that truth ring louder than his hate.
So Trump told you what he believes black jobs are. When they deported all of the farmhands and he was asked about, the farmers not having workers, he goes, well, we thought the people from the inner city were going to, take the jobs, but clearly they didn't. So you were expecting people who live in urban areas in the city to move to the Midwest and Florida to work on the farms? Okay. Then now they're telling him, the percentage of black jobs are down. And the man says, he's bringing back factory and plant work, and there will be black jobs available then. So you understand what he's describing is a caste system, right? Very much so like India, because, there are people like Tucker Carlson who, even in his awakening, if that's what that is, says that he's not racist. Trump is not racist. That's what he says. So then let's look at it in a caste system, right? In India, everybody's Indian, but there's a caste system in India. And some of it has to do with color as well, colorism. The very, very dark Indians, like my great-grandmother, who was from India. And then you have the very light-skinned Indians, right? And depending on where you're from or whatever, you're the lowest of the lowest in the caste or you're the highest of the highest. So a caste system is what racism is built from. So inadvertently, it is the same thing. He's describing where he believes black people belong on the spectrum in terms of work and class. So where you belong is working in the fields and in the plants and the factories. He's bringing back jobs. Wait, black people, the black jobs are coming. This is so sad on so many levels, and this is not me bringing down people who work in factories, but the fact that he's specifically saying those jobs are coming back for black people is the problem. This is when it becomes a caste system. This is when you see on the spectrum where he sees us as people that should be working in factories and in the fields. This is a man who's 80 something years old. He grew up in Jim Crow era. His dad wore the pointy white hat. Even though he lived in New York, which is purportedly one of the most diverse cities in the United States. He lived in a bubble in New York. And people go, yeah, he had black friends and he slept with black women. And were they his friends though? Everything has a purpose in this man's life. There was a time that every rap artist had his name in songs. And he was going through a time. And that propped him up. So guess what? He's going to get close to what props him up. That's his MO. He's a narcissist. For all of you, black people, and even every person of color who voted for this man, there's a great book about this and then even a greater movie about this, and the book is probably better than the movie. I watched it and I did a video about it. Hold that thought, because I'm going to give you the name of the movie, which describes how a caste system, that racism was built on a caste system, and the fact that when you look at both, juxtapose the caste system in India and racism, it is the same thing. Hold that thought. So the movie is called Origin, and basically that is what it's discussing, the fact that, from the caste system, you now have racism. Maybe go watch it. It is so sad to watch black people and people of color vote, and not only the fact that they voted for this man, but some of them still defend this. And it is so scary. But then we are familiar with these black people. They've always been around. And we do have names for them, which I will not mention in this video. It's time to wake up.
Why are the black Americans so hell-bent to address this issue called the black job that the president mentioned just the other day? The term black job refers to employment sectors where black Americans are historically overrepresented, such as home health care or government roles. However, the concept is highly controversial as black Americans work in every industry, making the idea of a race-specific job inaccurate. So what did the president mean when he mentioned the black job? So the President Trump coined the phrase during the year 2024 presidential debate to argue that undocumented immigrants are taking jobs traditionally held by black Americans. His argument was that an influx of migrants crossing the border is negatively impacting the economic stability of black communities by undercutting them for work. Imagine simplex analogy. Imagine a specific group of people heavily working in a few types of job, like being a bus driver or a nurse. Trump argued that new arrival immigrants are taking those exact jobs, which leaves the original group struggling to find work. He grouped all employment held by black Americans under the umbrella term black jobs. So why are black Americans angry about this? The phrase sparked major backlash for several reasons. Why? Black leaders and citizens criticized the term for being dismissive of black talent. Black Americans work as doctors, teachers, CEOs, lawyers, and in every other profession. Also, many find the phrase highly offensive because it recalls eras in history when job listings were explicitly divided by race, keeping black citizens restricted to low wage and manual labor. In addition, economists and labor data suggest the claim that immigrants are stealing jobs is false, with unemployment for native-born workers remaining very low. In addition, the message caused the terminology black job. The message has caused frustration by attempting to create division and economic fear between the black and immigration community. As a result, people end up, staying divided instead of working in unity and literally live in harmony as a result of that. So, do you agree with the whole idea of the black job that the president mentioned just the other day? I'd love to hear from you guys. Please subscribe to my channel. Until next time, bye bye.